Hello Jibsers, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. It's been a bit of a lull. Some of it's due to we've got a heat wave over here obviously. The curtains are usually shut and it's usually bedlam outside because all the kids have been released, the junior kids have been released from school early. And it's quite funny, the schools can't teach them, but they're perfectly happy to be at home and then running out in it because the parents just let them out in the heat and everything. I don't get it. Anyway, uh, not a huge amount to show because I've done no painting through most of this heat wave. I can paint through the heat. It's just blooming hard work because your hands constantly slip down the paintbrush. I'm not really, so I'm trying to look at this little bit here, which is the actual camera bit, isn't it? I'm not in any massive hurry. I've got things on the desk. The ABs I've based, sanded, painted the bases. The edges of the bases are just waiting for the tufts, but I need to make some more tufts, which is something I've got to do this week. We've not been able to take, or I've not been able to get up the wire forest with Nugget. Poor little chaps, obviously with the heat of 30 odd degrees. I'm taking him out in that. With the aircon in the car, I can get him up there, but I'm not having him walk in the raw because he won't walk. He'll run everywhere, and I'll be bringing him back with heat exhaustion. I've done the Achilles, just like you get like micro tears in them and that, don't you? And that's also stopped us going up there. Well, we go up there, but we have to tiny little walks. It's really not good. Well, you needed to know that, but it's just I'm just trying to put it into context what I'm doing and what I'm not doing. So I said to my Mara Beetle, we confer off YouTube, because I'm getting closer to doing the Starfighter, but I haven't done any more on the Semavente, which is, I won't do the Starfighter until the Semavente is done. That's the one in 35 scale Tamiya, and the Starfighters are one in 48 kinetic Starfighter. And I went and got the M48 in 1 in 56 scale, which is for 28mm wargaming mostly, but they do market them also as models, you can display them and whatever, and people do. And I'd said to Beetle, I says, oh, it shouldn't, it's my Hue Marines in Hue. I mean, I'm doing Vietnam in 28mm scale, and it'll be all like Vietnamese forces, but I've got a particular interest in Hue, and the 1 in 48 pattern was going to be for that. However, it's hard to do a Vietnam armour, particularly the M48 patterns and the later Sheridans, the smaller Sheridan that came along. It's hard to do them without doing loads of extras that weren't in the kit, and that's the rabbit hole I've fallen down with this one. I love doing stowage on tanks. I just think it really brings them to life. Now, the Marine Corps tanks in Hue, they had their rear bustle, which I'll show you in a minute, full of stowage, but it didn't seem to me, I haven't found any pictures that I could find online of Marine Corps M48s that were, say, bristling with anti-personnel machine guns and a ton of stowage. Well, Rubicon give you 2 full 58 caliber machine guns, one with a flash suppressor on, which I'll show you in a minute, and they give you 1 barrel that goes into the cupola. Normally a standard issue for an M48 would be they would fire the machine gun from the cupola, but because it's got one of those weird cupolas, it's not just a hatch. Well, it is, but it's a domed hatch, and it was really tight for space in there. So quite often in Vietnam, if for nothing else, it wasn't so much always just to get more, arcs of fire with a 50 cal. A lot of the time it was just easier with all the combat body armor on and stuff to get in and out of the tank. So you'll see them like in Huey, I've seen them with the 50 in the cupola. I've also seen them where they've mounted the 50 on top of the cupola. But I've never seen one with extra machine guns like in the loader's hatch, which is what I've done with this. And I thought, well, although the tank is more or less fictional, I'm not basing it off a particular tank, Marine Corps or Army. But I'm probably going to go down the lines of it's either a first 9th or first 10th Cav, maybe Cambodia or something like that. I'll give you a quick flash of what I'm doing so far. I'll just do it to the camera for now. There will be a different. So I've done a few sandbags. I've done the angle iron weld, just tack welded on the front. There was just a lot of the ones I'd seen, we just had 1 or 2 sandbags on the commander's cupola. I've seen them with the loaders. So this is all back to front, isn't it? Because of the load. I put the 50 cal on the loader's hatch with a homemade mount, which would have been done in the field. I have seen them with. They've managed to mooch 30 cals from somewhere. I've also seen them with the M60. I don't think it was that hard to go outside official paperwork, let's put it that way, and pick up 50 cals, 30 cals, 6 M60s, you name it. And this tank is a amalgamation of a couple of tanks I've seen, and the one I particularly obviously fastened onto straight away was an army tank with this makeup of machine gun. They literally left the one in the cupola, one on the top, and one with some homemade mount with a few sandbags round. And I thought, yep, that'll do for me. I'm starting to make the reason it's taken me so long, Beetle, because I said it wouldn't do, is I'm making my own stowage. I don't have any stowage, especially in this scale. I've got a printer, but I'd have to go and buy resin, and I'm not paying 20 odd quid for resin just for doing this for the moment. So I've just been making my own stowage up, just scratching it. So I've done some the white bits that you might be able to see are like the different ammo boxes they use for stowage, and there was also different boxes that were just used for the military putting stuff they didn't want damaged in, optics and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot going on. I'm I've done this all through that heat wave as well. That was a chore and a half, but we fight on. Let me just hold these with tweezers. I don't have a lot of the styrene rods and all the different shapes. I've only got a few packets, so I have to make do and mend really. So I have to build things up. I used it doesn't really want to focus, does it? And this is back to front. I'll do a proper video. This was just going to be a quick chat. I used a block of styrene that I had got, carved it down to make 2 jerry cans that are put together. And then I realised it was slightly too not wide enough, so I just had to put another piece of plastic on the back. So it's all a bit laborious, but and it won't look as good as the factory ones, but they'll suffice for what I need. So I'm going to put some 3 or 4 jerry cans on the back with a small frame around. I've seen that as well, and I need to make, which I'm doing right now, or just when I thought for all the little I call them the anthill mob. There's about 5 or 6 that have moved into our cul-de-sac in the last 18 months. They're like Alvin and the Chipmunks, these little high-pitched voices, but my life, they make a racket with all the windows open and that. And I thought if I don't get this done now, this vid, they'll be out and about, and we'll never hear ourselves. We'll look like we're invaded by chipmunks. Right, so yeah, I'm building building some jerry cans, Gav. A few for fuel. That's taken some time, but taking some for fuel and a couple for water. I'm making up a couple of 3 ammo boxes for just like rifle rounds, or maybe for the machine gun for the extra rounds for the machine gun in the cupola. No, in the turret. as I say, I don't have a lot. I'm trying to find. I'm mooching around, cutting old sprue up, and I'm just trying to. It's never going to be perfect shapes, but styrene rod's expensive. So I've got some of this rod, so that's becoming tops of jerry cans. The round bit, obviously the fuel goes out of. Um, yeah, I'm going to make some ration cardboard ration boxes yet. I'm not sure what I'm going to probably have to cut down sprue again to make those, I think. But the problem is you end up with everything that's the same size, so then I have to stick the bits of styrene sheet I have got together to try and to make. This is getting, you have a good idea, Gav, and it just it takes a bit of time. I don't think I mentioned on there. I've using that a thinner bit of styrene rod I'd still got left. I cut some up and made some smoke grenades because I noticed that a lot of the commanders had a bit of rope or whatever with the daisy chain of smoke grenades that they could pull and lob. So I've done 3 or 4 on one side of the cupola. I've got a couple of spares, so I put them on the other side. Got made stretch sprue, made a couple of fly-off handles for them. So pull your thing, handle flies off obviously, and ignites like it would a grenade. Ignites the smoke. Yeah, I've as usual, it's just fun to do. It's my project. Would you want to do that particularly with a wargaming piece? Probably not, because bits will fall off it. Like these 50s, I don't think would survive first contact with a wargame stable probably. But they're from my 28mm NAM collection, so whether it ever gets wargamed or just looked at, I don't really care. It's my stuff. I textured all the hull and only where the cast would be, as I say, the fenders either side, they were mild steel, so they're not textured. But as usual, like I did an M48, a monogram M48, if you remember, ages ago, and I covered that in sandbags. I'm covering this in all storage, so I've done all this texture over the M48, and I'm covering it all up. There will be bits showing. The problem I've got, you get 2 crewmen. I think they more or less say really just use one. They're giving you a couple of options. Fairly basic. They're not nothing huge to shout about. And I thought, did I want to pay the £6? I know the £6 and get Empress do a tank crew. The problem is, although they give me the 2, like just a torso and a head, and no arms showing, which would be for the tank driver, I'm not 100% that they would fit in. Because obviously this is a Rubicon one, it's not necessarily saying that that's going to fit in. I then have the problem if I get the 2, the loader and the commander. It's made for Empress's M48 resin tank, and there's no necessarily saying that where the arms are posed, they're going to actually. I don't want it stilted. I want them to look like they're where they're supposed to be. And again, I'm not 100% sure if they're going to be anywhere near fitting the turret. So I decided in the end, go with the 2. I'm going to put the spare one's going to be the loader, obviously the commander. Keep looking this way, Gav. That's the only problem with these phones. And I'm either going to. I tried it. I used the blue stuff. The Oshimuru blue stuff. I'll have to reheat this. I did press. I did try and make a recast. Yes, it's recast, but I'm not selling the thing, so I don't mind doing that. A recast of the head, and I thought, well, either do a cast of the commander's torso and a cast of the head, and then I can have my driver. Because I've got now, I'd even looked on eBay to see if they got any, like a sprue of, and they don't, of the commanders, the tank crew set for this. Nobody was selling it, and I wasn't going to go and pay a load of money because they'd probably want the same as it would have cost me to get an Empress. The Empress ones, I just didn't want the Empress ones in case it's too, for me, that money can go to another few Vietnam figures rather than finding, I've got figures that I can't, I literally have to hack to pieces to make them do what I want to do. Whereas plastic's a lot easier to do in that type of thing. So I did me little. I put my head in, put the head in it, and the Yoshimuru, the blue stuff, and I must have pressed down too hard. I don't really ever do this type of stuff. I'm not a big fan of recasting. I know I'm not selling them, but I always feel a bit iffy about doing it. But I must have pressed down too hard. His face came out not too bad. It's only a tiny little face. 'Cause he's got one of those round dome helmets on with a mouthpiece across. Uh, but it was fairly squashed. There wasn't really that much roundness to the helmet. So I'm going to have another go at that later on, actually, and just see if I can get a better, get a better shot at doing that. And if I really have to, and I'm really not wanting to do this, I've got a book on sculpting coming. I have got one, a 1990s one, but I've got the AK one coming. I splurged and spent me £12 and I've got the AK one, and I'm going to attempt at not sculpting for this one. Hopefully, just that I keep wanting to sculpt. Nothing commercial. I'm not interested. It's suddenly becoming Paul Hicks. I just. I just I've always wanted to do it. I enjoy painting, but I'm not very good at. I've got the ideas in here, but I can't get them out. I can't draw. I've been trying to draw for years, and I just can't. It's useless. And I've tried and tried to sculpt. Keep looking this way, Gav, and it's just not working for me. So I'm thinking I've tried all the YouTube vids. I'm not expecting to be again a Paul does 28mm. I'd like to do larger ones personally. I prefer like doing 54mm and 75 and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I've always just something I've always wanted to do. Military figures. That's all I want to do. Um, I've got a hankering. You can buy horses in 54mm from places like El Greco. They're pre-done, and they're used for you can buy commercial figures and then convert them, chopping legs off and all that type of stuff. But I'd really like to convert my own cavalry figures, foot figures as well, as ex-infantryman. But I fancy doing like mounted some mounted figures, or I've got a particular idea in my head for two types of mounted figures. Well, holding the horse is what I'm trying to say. Because you've got a nice pose of a horse, like eating the grass type of stuff. And I thought he could either be sitting casually on the horse or next to the horse. And I've got an interest in the United States cavalry operations against like the Sioux and the Cheyenne and that Little Bighorn. Obviously, it's the 150th anniversary. But things like that, but also some other stuff as well, like British Yeomanry, Great War, all that type of stuff. Boring. So I'd like to have a go, is what I'm trying to say. I'd like to do some Vietnam sculpting as well, because the problem is you can go on eBay and it's all recast. Oh, you can get them for like 10 quid, 7 quid. You can buy a bust that I would spend close to 50 quid on. They're selling it for a tenner, and eBay just let them get away with it. They just turn a blind eye, and it's all rip off. All these, UK. Yeah, you probably are. You're somebody buying this stuff in recasting, and you know, Paul Hicks had actually left a comment. Thank you, Paul. On the, I don't think you'll ever see this feed, but because he sculpts the Vietnam stuff that I do, and I'd seen personally in hand one of his 54mm sculpts that he'd done, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I'd said to him again see the comment if you go to see the Vietnam vid I did. I'd love you to do some 54mm stuff, and he said I'd love to do some. I just do not have the time. And I'd put a follow-up comment just saying, well, to be honest, let's face it, Paul, if he did 54mm commercially, the minute that he makes a sculpt, these tow rags, and that's what they are, will buy one of his. Oh, they'll buy a whole, pay it for once, and then literally just recast it, stealing. It's because that's what it is. If you're buying recasters, you're buying stolen IP. It's stolen property. It's like somebody nicking your neighbour's widescreen TV, and then knocking your door and say, "Hey, I've got this TV for sale." Oh yeah, So it's something I just don't like. I just don't think it's fair. I don't think people that spend hours and hours and hours sculpting for some tow rag to recast it and get away with it. It's whether in China, UK, wherever. It's yeah, it's not fair. And also, people, proper sculptors will just give up. They'll just say, "What's the bloody point? I can't make a living because people are literally stealing what I do and then selling it, and people will buy it. Why do I want to pay 50 quid, Gav, for that when I can pay a tenner?" I get it, hard times, but you'd have still done that if it wasn't hard times because people want a bargain and they don't give a damn if somebody loses their livelihood as long as they get their cheap figure. Anyway, I told you it was a ramble. I just fancy doing one. So yeah, so at the moment we're down to just working on the M48. The summer event, I'm not going to get this. Summer event is in its box at the back there. I've done all the main spray painting. Have you done? Have you, Gav? Just think. I have, yes. All the spray painting's done. I haven't. All those tarps I made and everything. They've still got to be. They're all painted over actually. With it, I just sprayed the lot. It didn't really matter because I've got to respray them, hand paint them anyway. So all that's done. I need to. I've got to fix the wheels on and all the suspension units because I haven't done any of the tracks yet. But I didn't want to do that until the whole vehicle was sprayed. The bit of oil work I wanted to do on there, which was to light and just give a bit of tonal variation to the tank. Salt gun. That needs to be done. I've got that one crew, or I think he's not actually part of the crew. He's an officer, isn't he? Stood at the side, but painted him. You've seen that one if you have. I'm not going to paint the guy in the tank, the driver, because he's one of the old 1970s ones, and they look like they've been carved with a piece of, somebody that only had the vaguest idea of of what human anatomy was. But the other two are really nice, decent figures. So I'll just paint the tank commander on that one and put him where he's supposed to be sat on the or the assault gun. So yeah, stick the wheels on. But before that, I wanted to paint the rubber on them, stick them on. Then that gives me the base then to build the tracks round. I'm going to try and do what people say. I can never get it right. I can never get them loose enough to then take off. But I'll not glue the idler wheels on. I think that's what you've got to do. Take the idler wheels off with them. Yeah, something like that. I've got to say as well. Again, I'm going to do a proper. Once I've done all the stowage and all this is ready for painting, I'll do a proper video onto the desk, and I'll show you all the bits I've done. Major. I can only say it is penny pink. I'm really peed off with Rubicon over this. I'll go into. There was one other fitment issue which could well have been me, so we won't bother with that. But this is really down to them. They do pre-made tracks, right? You can see some lovely moulding there. See on the top, it's all completely flat though. There's no track mould on there whatsoever. In their eyes, why do we need to do it? It's going very close under, and it is under the fenders. You won't see it, and you don't. To be fair to them, and most tanks have, even if it was desert, there's enough stuff there. You just wouldn't see that. But they then decided to be really clever and leave the back completely smooth. So they followed it along, smooth along here, and then down the back. I can only think that some bright spark at Rubicon decided around the boardroom table that these guys are wargaming mostly with our tanks. They're only going to be seeing the tank across the tabletop. I can see your tank, you can see mine. So why do we have to? We can save ourselves a couple of pence on each one and not do the track at the back. And it just looked really cheap, shoddy. And do you know what I've had to do? Get it, and it's not half as good as their moulded stuff on the front. I've got my Dremel out, and I've literally had to Dremel a track shape on each individual one at the back and just slightly over the top. I was actually going to take a couple of the fenders back, like a lot of the Vietnam ones were ripped off, especially in Huayas, which originally I was going to do for Huay. Yeah, I had to then like carve a line through to because the track links are separate down the middle. I just that wasn't if that was an oversight, it's almost as badly done as trying to save a few pence. I don't believe it was an oversight because these go through so many testing, uh, like different stages of production. That had to be a cost thing, and I just thought that was really, you know, that's just like laughing at your clients, laughing at your customers. They don't need that, you know. It's like chocolate bar companies and crisp companies and all the other companies that are telling us that, oh no, there's no difference to our products whatsoever. We haven't taken 10 crisps out or knocked back the flavourings. We've not condensed the chocolate bars, it's all in your imagination. And I can only think that's what they've done there. If it was an oversight, really, I just don't get it. You wouldn't go through all the way down the design process to them and nobody pick up that there's no track. There's just a smooth back to that. I can only think it was penny pinching. Um, so yeah, so just be aware with that with the M48. You might not wargaming. It might not bother you at all. You just say, "Well, I'll just put some mud on the back of that. Who's going to know?" And absolutely, I get it. Um, you can't. Well, you could. No, you can't. I was going to say you could make some either plastic card or card, even paper, to make just cut out some shapes of the tracks and then stick it on top. The problem is the flat bit is the where the track would be. You'd have to really cut out like I've done to do it. It's not a hard job. It's just a job you shouldn't, after you've paid whatever you've paid for the damn model, have to do your own tracks. That is ridiculous. Anyway, we'll have a wash up over that. Where did I get that from? Jamie Haggo's channel. Although to be fair, we did use it in the infantry as much as they probably do as the pilots. But we'll have a wash up. We'll he's an aircraft modeler, by the way, and he flies fast jets. Scale Model Cafe, it's called, and very good eats too. But yeah, I'll do a proper when everything's done before the first lot of primer goes on or whatever. We'll have a look at the tank in its grey glory. It is grey. It's like it's very almost like a greeny grey. But we'll have a look at it. Everything's stuck on, stowage on. And I won't do that until I've done these crewmen. So everything's ready for paint because I do want to. I've been enjoying doing it, but I need to. This is jump the queue yet again. I've got it up top. There's a Beetle half done. Yes, Beetle. I know it'll get there. It's been washed off twice, ready to be painted, and then different stuff like the heat came and all the rest of it. Oh, excuse. I know it'll get done. That's why it stays there. So tell me to get it done. But yeah, that's until this is done. Some event he can't be finished. The only thing this would have been done if I'd have kept it as a standard Marine Corps M48 in the Battle of Hue in 1968. But no, Gav wanted to stick loads of stuff on. Yeah, well, so that's done. Figure wise, I've pulled a couple of more of the 1812 winter Napoleonic figures from Perry. I'll start doing those, but I want to get. I've got 4 mounted. British, Gav. They're British. British Hussars. Just a couple of things need to do on them, and then I'll just quickly show you those. some old guard Perry Grenadiers, the ones still taking paint. I've still got a lot waiting to go into paint for those, but I was paint stripping them ones I'd had for years and years, and I was moaning about metal prices. And I've got some 6mm as well. They're actually on the desk, tiny little 6mm. I'll show you those. The 18mm AB Würzburgers infantry. As I say, they're just waiting for me to make some more toughs. I have probably got enough, but it's just Murphy's law that if I use all them up, I'm going to probably need some toughs at short notice. So I need to get some done. The over there under his little dust cover, I need to finish that dragon figure off for the Panzer Grenadier. See, everything goes all over the shop. The 15mm got no farther forward than making the cardboard. I'm not 100% yet with this cardboard backdrop I've made, which is why it's stalled. Have done some paintwork on the Soviet assault gun that's going to be abandoned next to the backdrop as the Panzer. There you go. You know the one I'm on about. I've done it and I've showed it you. I just can't get this to work. Anyway, so that's that. I've got a 40k figure I need to actually show on my 40k channel because that's been dead for a while. The channel figure. Just because I've been doing other things, and as I say, with my head, I literally go down the channel where the head wants what the head wants to do. Gav does, which is why you find. That's why I say I do apologise frequently. People join up, they want to see Napoleonics, and then suddenly a tank turns up or 40. This is why I separate the 40k. I will do the odd 40k on the channel still, but the 40k goes on my 40k channel. It's nothing. I've got about 20 subscribers. But that will be over there, and there is the figure right on the very top. Where are you, Gav? There, right above the beetle, the blue beetle. It's a little figure. He's I think he's a librarian. He's 3/4 of the way painted, but again, that stopped. I'll be back to him when I'm feeling in the mood. So yeah, this was just a channel catch up. I'm sorry about the noise of our blinds banging away. It's just I've opened every window in the house to try and get the air through work. I think it's supposed to go raging hot again by the following weekend. It only bothers me more because it makes painting harder, but also the pup, he's really been struggling in the heat. Not sickness wise, just he doesn't like it. I don't think he knew what heat was last year really until he's got this one, and he's really missing going up the wire. Which is, I did say I'd put one of our walks up the wire forest every couple of weeks up. I mean, we go up 5 or 6 days a week, but not bore you all with the same stuff. But I chuck one up every couple of weeks because there are some people that like to see Nugget running around. It makes them smile, as they say, and that's good because we all get I love seeing the little fella charge around. But yeah. You can't do that because of the heat, although we should. And this week it's going cooler, but my car's in for some work, which is what my wife's visiting her sister at the moment. She'll be back later on today. But once my car goes in, it's going to be in for about 3 or 4 days next week. You can't make it up. So when it's cool, she's off work Monday, Tuesday. So she said we go up. I can only go literally. I'm not supposed to be walking up slopes or hills. Well, if you know the Wire Forest and you've seen some of my videos, it's all slopes and hills. Not huge, but they're quite sharp. And I'm not supposed to be stretching that Achilles too much. Because I've been hobbling around on it now for about 6 weeks, and obviously just mashing it into the ground, doing the stiff upper lip. It won't break me down. Well, finally had to bite the bullet and just rest it up. I've got ice pack on it now. Get that little violin going. Sorry, Nugget, I've just woke you up. But it's more for him. I just love getting him out. But and I say I have been going up there, but we're doing this tiny little, literally 40, 30. We normally go up for about 2.5 hours, but we're doing this like 30-minute on the flattest bit that I can get to from the car park. A little circle. We keep running into loads of people. We had another blooming dog avid trying to pop it in the other week, another working cocker as well. That bloke got the rough end of Gav's tongue, nearly getting to 60, but I don't suffer fools gladly. Nobody hurts my pop. Nobody. Well, I mean, he didn't, but he didn't have his dog on the slip when we were coming towards him. Gav put Nugget on the slip. Oh, and he got the usual, he's all right, he's going to go up and say hello. And straight away he's trying to get his teeth round Nugget's neck. He nearly got Gav size 11 in the side of his head. Anyway, calm down, Gav, calm down. That was about 3 weeks ago now. It's all over. Head problems go from 0 to 1,000 in literally milliseconds. I'm getting way too old for rocking with people. Anyway, look after yourselves. Yeah, next video will be the M48 ready for paint, and we'll go around. I'll moan about those tracks again. I'm really let down Rubicon with those tracks. That was penny pinching in the extreme, because it's the only thing you can penny pinching. Never noticed. I don't think so. And I just think that shows a bit of contempt for the people that are spending a lot of money on your products. But apart from that, the rest of the tank is fairly decent. It goes together very well. That was supposed to be in the wash up at the end, isn't it? Yeah, enough of the tank. So yeah, there'll be things popping up in the next couple of weeks. As I say, it's normally the wife has the little box room door shut because she works from home, as you know. Obviously, it's been that hot. She's got like one of these tower fans blaring away. I've usually got this little tower fan blaring away behind me, and it's just been, the kids have been being let off school early because the junior kids anyway, because of this heat wave. And the minute they can chuck their little school bags in, they're out. And it is bedlam with the windows open and stuff. So yeah, it's just been hard, mate. And also, as you probably know, I really enjoy my football, and we got the World Cup on, and I've been watching matches in the evening. Well done, England. We've qualified. I'm still sceptical about that defence. I think we've got the power to hurt people in attack and midfield, but defensively, so let's go call out the defence. I'm just not. I wish Pickford wouldn't be so much of a gung ho charging forward. We rode our luck in all 3 games, really. Not that they've been playing particularly badly. Hang on, Nugget, get down. But I've not been. Look, it's a competition. Competitions. It's a whole different way of playing football than in the leagues. So we don't have to destroy teams 7-0 or anything like that. We just have to get through to the next one, and then the next one. But I think that's Nugget making his bed. I'm going to go because I'm going to have to tell him off because he's going to rip it up in a minute. You look after yourselves, and we'll catch each other soon on another video.